Indy, Monaco, Le Mans. There are many great races in the world, but for amateur drivers, one race stands above all others. For the past 50 years, the Sports Car Club of America Runoffs has been the pinnacle of amateur motorsports. A single, winner-take-all event that can take a lifetime to win and only split seconds to lose. This is where champions are crowned, where professional careers are launched. This is where greatness is born.
Well, welcome to the 2013 50th running of the SCCA Runoffs. My name is Jeff Lepper. I'm joining the booth here by Randy Popes. We have John Biziano down on pit lane in a few minutes here. We'll get a kind of perspective of what the guys are going through as we get set to start the day's festivities here. It is Saturday now, and we have F500 up first. Once again, welcome to everybody at speedcasttv.com. So, Randy, we had a pretty nice day yesterday. It was rain in the morning, but it did clear up, and boy, what about these blue skies now?
Jeff, it was not a nice day yesterday till about 3 o'clock.
Nice racing yesterday.
Cold front came in, which makes the temperature just beautiful for racing today from a driver's standpoint. These F500 guys, I was talking with the Safe Racer pole sitter, James Guido, last night, and he didn't seem to think getting a little tire temp would be any problem. But these are lightweight formula cars. The things really they have a tremendous power to weight ratio, and they don't have much weight. I think he told me there was about 800 pounds with him in it. And I'm a little concerned about tire temperature. We're barely 50 degrees this morning. The sun's not up. The track is cold. That's something to consider, but wow, it is a beautiful day today. Yesterday, rainy, cloudy until the afternoon.
Now, we did mention it did rain pretty much all week long, and these guys only really got one qualifying session, as most of the groups. I believe there was 2 different groups that we'll see later today that only had dry third sessions. The second session was a washout for everybody. The track is going to be wet offline. There's still areas of patch. You get back through Thunder Valley there with the trees. I don't know if the track's ever going to dry. And then also, if these guys drop some wheels off in this grass and the mud out here, especially these little formula cars, that could be pretty disastrous as well.
Yeah, it could. This is a day where you want to stay on the pavement, which is always a good philosophy. It served me well in my career, although people are going to start bringing up images immediately of me with 4 wheels in the dirt. But the Formula 500 cars are very, very low. One of the secrets to their speed is the low center of gravity. And, man, they don't have any clearance for off-road work. So I think these guys don't even drop wheels. I'll be curious to see how much they're hitting the curves. This is an old class. It's been around for a long time. Started out as Formula 440, and it has developed and developed and developed a lot. They have a lot more power now, a bigger engine. It's a 2-stroke twin, water-cooled 2-stroke twin, and they have real suspension. I mean, they have rocker arms and long control arms, and the things are capable of a lot of speed. They are, I believe that James Guido on the Safe Racer pole is within a second of the Formula Ford pole. So these little cars go.
Yeah, that sounds like it's a pretty cool thing. I was actually looking at some of the cars, and it's amazing they don't really have shocks on them. They're like a rubber mount with a push rod and the CVT transmission, you know, so they don't have to shift. It's sort of so really clutch packages, and the tuning on your pipe kind of gets you that extra little power, you know, using snowmobile motors, the 500cc that you mentioned before. It looks like to be fun to go race. Some of these are, you know, home built, or they're Invader chassis, you know, kind of like a huge go-kart that I think would fit a big guy like me. So I'm kind of excited, but I don't know if I can make that 800-pound weight minimum, though. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm more like a 1,000-pound minimum.
It could be that they ballast the drivers to even out the weight. You know what, Jeff? I'll bet they do.
Yeah, they probably.
And you fans out there listening, I apologize for not knowing more about that class. But because the cars are so light, the weight would be critical.
Yeah, it means there's actually looking at one of those Formula Fords that are the F500 cars are pretty close too. Looks like we're going to try to see if we can start some of our pre-race festivities here and do our national anthem.
What so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the rampart hearts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Or say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Very nice as we're starting to get ready to run the 2013 50th running of the SCCA Runoffs here at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. So, Randy, you've had some experience on this track. I've actually raced here one time in a EG Honda Civic in 1999. I came through the carousel, had a left rear tire go down, slid through the sand trap sideways, and rolled the car twice.
Oh,
This track,
that's a tough day.
I saved up all year to make that race.
I know what you mean.
And I tell you what, if I had a chance to come back and run this track again because of this track and this facility and this people here in Elkhart Lake, I would do it in an instant. That's what this track means.
This is one of the classic circuits, one of the most beautiful, one of the largest typically. Well, there might be somebody coming close, but a historical circuit built back when road courses were built like roads. In the terrain that was there. You know, I think modern circuits often are just so sanitary. Although with that sanitariness comes more safety. But I like a track that looks like a road and has that kind of historical feel. And I think that I've been around racing long enough that some of the tracks that were the modern ones when I started 25 years ago are now kind of a little bit more old-fashioned. And they keep moving the walls back and building sand traps. And I heard Dorsey Schrader yesterday commentating on one of our other Runoffs races and talking about how the carousel seems a little faster now that they move the guardrail back. But it wasn't far enough for you. But I know that the gravel traps actually help slow the cars down. That's the object, is you get into that gravel and it digs in and slows the car, but sometimes it can roll the car. One of my rules is if you're going in a gravel trap, go in straight.
Yeah, go in straight, especially in a sedan car.
On the other hand, a lot of times when we're going in, we don't have much choice, right?
No, I had no choice, that's for sure. There's a great shot of the kink, probably one of the most intimidating corners in all of motorsports.
Oh, it's
on
fast.
Any track.
And then Canada corner, the next corner after the kink, you reach pretty much the same speed here that you do on the much longer straightaways on the other side of the course.
That big, long uphill underneath the Caterpillar Bridge, cross start finish, and that's a good look at what some of the iconic corners here are at Road America as we're getting ready to start the F500 rounds of the 2013 50th running of the SCCA Runoffs. Check out all the information live today at speedcasttv.com. We have quite a few classes running today. This race will be followed up by T1. We have Mazda's Spec Racer Ford, Formula V, GT1, F Production, and Formula F all today.
We have a nice shot here of the Briggs and Stratton Bridge that leads on down to turn 3. We're looking upstream, so it's pretty good downhill. In fact, from the race car, I never get the sense of that hill being as big as it is, but it has to be because these front straightaway is uphill all the way up to the end. We're looking at more race cars in the paddock in spite of that NASCAR jacket.
Yeah, C-Sports racer car there.
Looks pretty sophisticated. Has some rocker arm suspension with the shocks mounted inboard.
Some of the great fans here camp out all weekend, all throughout this track. And I was actually, it's nice. I'm staying at a place right on the lake, and I was kind of like, man, I wonder if I should, camp out. And then with all the rain, I'm kind of glad I didn't make that choice.
Oh, Jeff, don't be a wimp.
Oh, no, I'm a wimp.
Come on, you got to be hardcore.
Some of the
I saw a tent on the day it was raining. There was a tent in a puddle. And then there was a river running through the SCCA concession trailer right on the other side of the paddock. Nice shot there of the safety truck. In fact, those guys were inspirational during the national anthem. They came by with the American flag flying down. I'm from Georgia, and they run them all the time in their pickup trucks down there. It was pretty cool. That was a wonderful rendition of that anthem, by the way.
Yeah, great singer there. She does it pretty much every major event here at Road America, so we really appreciate that. She'll be back again tomorrow for us.
Wow, she can hit those low notes. Well, you know, the anthem is so tough. It's super wide range. You got to go from down low to way up high. And I'd like to do it, but
we actually had a
I would
flyover for
one
the
of those
national
Rosie
anthem too,
O'Donnell
right?
anthems.
Oh, that would be yours, Rosie
embarrassing,
O'Donnell.
and in fact,
Was that Roseanne Barr? Or
Roseanne Barr, was it?
Yeah,
Rose somebody. I think I would not do it credit, not do it service.
And we actually had a flyover. I think the flyover we can dedicate to the sun, which is finally out, so that's pretty cool.
We had a flyover?
The sun.
Oh.
Hasn't been out all week, so it made its presence known. And boy, like I said, look at the great shot here. What just a great facility, a great area, welcoming us. Unfortunately, the last year, hopefully we'll be back, but the last year for the SCCA runoffs. Next year switches over to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. And when looking at that transition to that track, well, you can't talk about two different tracks. Yes, they both are old in history, but that's kind of where the similarities end.
That is the truth. Road America has the signature of these long, long straightaways, and two of them back to back. So a car's top speed and horsepower is really important here. But at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, the longest straightaway is not terribly long. A lot of corners, a lot of elevation. So it is really different in character, and I think it's going to change the choice to win for each class. You know, obviously the classes where there's a wide variety of cars, which in SCCA racing, that's a lot of them. When we were doing H production yesterday, and the newer, bigger cars with bigger engines that are heavier, they were dominating that race. The VW Golf, the Scirocco. Interesting to have a race where a VW has the bigger engine. But the British sports cars, they're not ideal for Road America, but they're going to be much stronger at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, the lightweight, the handling of those cars definitely will have an advantage. I know I'm looking forward to it. It's in my backyard.
We got one of the workers checking out the track.
You can always go to SCCA.com. We talked about how do you get involved. We talked before about our history. My 30 year of SCCA started out in timing and scoring when I was 7 years old. You could be one of these course workers. You get a front row center seat for all the actions at club tracks and events all throughout your the country. You have a chance to do, I know they volunteer at IndyCar weekends, the NASCAR road race weekends at Watkins Glen and Sears Point. Sorry, it's always going to be Sears Point in my mind. I can't call it anything else. It's really just a great thing to do. There's safety. There's emergency crews. The wrecker crew, the tow truck crew, announce staff, timing and scoring, logistics, press. I mean, all the way to, hey, I can drive and be a national champion. So there's, just the plethora of motorsports at SCCA.com.
I've always been a driver. And when I come to an event like this as an announcer, and I come up into race control, and I go visit a worker party, I'm reminded of how many people it takes to put on a road race on a 4-mile circuit, especially the national championship, and all those, what do you call them? All the different modes of working the race that you just mentioned. All those specialties. Thank you very much, Jeff. You're closer to this club action than I am. Selfishly, you know what? I see one of these racers here, Chuck Maccabee down there in 25th. He's running, and his son is up there in 3rd. He's Me, Myself, and I Motor Toys. And I thought, that reminds me of me a little bit. As a driver, I guess we can be focused so much on ourselves and our race car and winning that race that we don't think about all the people helping to put it on.
And you will see that as well with a lot of respect, both from the driving side and the working side. When these guys start doing their pace laps and they start doing their cool-down laps, the drivers will have their hands out the window waving at each course station, and those course workers will be up on that wall, clapping and waving flags and doing everything else because they're excited about being here and we're excited about having them. Can never thank them enough.
I'm always thinking that they're like really clapping for me. I think they clap for everybody, Jeff.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah,
but
they don't pull their hands down when the car behind you goes by you.
I'm going to live my fantasy. Yeah, thank you. I know I was great, wasn't I?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Randy Popes. Yes, Randy Popes. Yes. You got your little queen wave going pretty good, you know? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Okay.
You got to be bad when you're a driver. You like give them the little biker wave. Hey.
Well, we talk about going to Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca in 2014 for the runoffs, but 2015 we transitioned back to a track that is more horsepower. So we're going to Daytona International Speedway. Now, I know you've run there before, so that tell us how that track is.
That's how I got this watch here, Jeff. Daytona is the mega straightaway track, so it'll be back to an even more extreme version than Road America in terms of high speed being important. Also braking at Daytona. With high speed, they have slow corners. When you go down into the infield, those are all hairpins, pretty much. And so, for instance, our Spec Miata guys, they're going to have buddies. You need to come loaded with a 3-car team, and you can dominate that weekend.
Yeah, you can pretty much draft there out of the bus stop, or out of turn, what is that, turn 7, I think, or turn 6, up onto the oval again.
Turn 6.
All the way to the bus stop. Then out of the bus stop, all the way back to basically pit out at Daytona when you come down into the infield there.
That was the only place I ever got my showroom stock Miata to 120, was in a draft at Daytona, crossing the start-finish line. That was impressive, because normally you can barely get them to 100 on the straights.
So that will be exciting to watch as we transition back. And
there's an F500. That's Chris Larson. He's nice and early on the grid. He saw that Lawrence Loshak yesterday showing up late without his helmet and then coming back and winning the race anyway.
Well, these guys got to be pretty good, too, being open cockpit, knowing that there's sun out and not rain.
Yeah, they're not going to need cool suits this morning, buddy. Let me tell you, they'll have that air conditioning going. That's a Scorpion chassis. All these cars run the same engine. It's a Rotax 494, 500cc two-stroke. And let me tell you, folks, some of you young punks out there, you don't know about two-strokes because they're kind of rare now, except in some racing dirt bikes and still in snowmobiles. Two-strokes put out a tremendous amount of power for their size. And it's almost like having a turbo, the amount of power they can put out. I was told last night by James Wita that his engine is putting out 240 horsepower per liter if you were to measure it on that scale.
Right.
And for a long time in racing, the holy grail was to get 100 horsepower per liter. 240 per liter is outrageous. So imagine that, say if you had a 2-liter engine like a lot of normal street cars do today, that would be 480 horsepower from a 2-liter engine. And there's no way you're going to do that without a turbocharger or maybe Formula One 17,000 RPM engine.
Or you look at a Volvo K-Pax S60R, and it's a 2.5 liter, and you guys are getting, what, 2,000, 3,000 horsepower out of that?
I think
if you listen to everybody, all the other competitors, that's what you're getting.
It's under 2,000, Jeff.
So it's 1,500 then?
So these two-strokes they really kind of like run like a really highly developed turbocharged 4-stroke engine, if not better. Two-strokes rock, let me tell you. I know this from the very little bit I've ridden dirt bikes. They're lining up on the grid and they're running good power. Let's see, I think they said that a quick one is going to be almost 140 on the straightaway. Think about that, folks.
And going to that, you do see all of the F500 cars getting down onto the grid and starting to get their pre-race festivities started underway. So speaking of that grid, Randy, let's go ahead and run through the starting lineup for the 50th running of the SCCA Runoffs in our Formula 500 class. On the pole, we talked about it earlier, that Safe Racer pole position award goes to James Wita out of West Lafayette, Indiana, in that Wita Apartments Formula X1. He's in a Scorpion chassis. Michael Mueller, he's a 2-time Runoffs champion, and that is back-to-back, 2011, 2012. Can he three-peat here in the MJ Manufacturing Red Devil Rotax F500? CJ, the son, CJ McAbey, out of Topeka, Kansas, in the AJ's Import Garage. Hoosier Tire, AJ's 2012, so it's his own chassis starting in third. Steve Jondal out of Somerset, Wisconsin, and that Jondal machine Hoosier Red Devil starts in fourth. Aaron Ellis in Farmington, Minnesota, another one of those picks in Sports Car Magazine to win the runoffs. Hopefully he can come from fifth place. Stephen Thompson starts on the outside of row number 3 in his TNR Fabricating TR1 Stinger chassis F500. Michael Brent starts from Bethel, Connecticut in his Hoosier Tire QR3 Invader chassis in 7th. And Keith Jocelyn will be on the outside of row number 4 in the Grand Island, New York ASI Signage Trimark Hoosier Tire Invader. Chris Larson starts in 9th in the L&L Racing powered by HRP Scorpion chassis. Jeff Jorgensen completes the starting order of top 10, and I know Jeff personally actually got a chance to really sit in his car when it was an F400 car when I was a kid, and he starts in the 10th position outside of row number 5.
That's pretty cool, and I bet Jeff is going to be tough at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca because he's from San Francisco. He's a West Coast guy. Woo-hoo. They're going to love having the runoffs in their neighborhood. Jeremy Morales is sitting 11th from New York. The Mitchell Racing Services JWR Hoosier Scorpion chassis. In 12th, Daryl Greening, right here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, not an hour away, in the Pro Motorsports Red Devil. Number 13 on the grid is Brian Brothers from Lake Orion, Michigan. TNR Fabricating Stinger. We had another TNR. Yeah, we had Stephen Thompson in TNR car up in 6th. On 14th, Jack Walbron from Missouri, Mitchell Racing Services Scorpion. In 15th, Herb Noble, Marion, Iowa, Mitchell Racing Services Scorpion. They've got quite a fleet running in the race. Jay Beckley, Marion, Marlton, New Jersey, Hoosier Tires, and Scuderia Frenzinta, QRE Invader. 17th is Corey McLeod, the Hardin Byers, and Anne-Marie McLeod, Red Devil. Jeff Blumenthal sitting 18th in the Chainsaw Motorsports. Nobody can call them Chainsaw but the guys who actually drive them. We've been warned.
That's been noted.
And the QRE Invader, that's a joke because they have a 2-stroke engine. But like I said, 2 strokes rock. They make amazing power. Joseph Palmer from Coppell, Texas, in the Mitchell Racing Novacar J9. There's a unique chassis we haven't seen before. In 20th, Timothy Freist in the XTR Racing Rod End Supply Mobile Reason KBS Mark 7, another chassis we haven't seen. 20th on the grid.
Yeah, starting 21st, Charlie Schlisman out of, hopefully I'm saying his name right. I do apologize if I am butchering that. His family's at the TV monitor watching and probably cursing me right now. Homewood, Illinois, in the Mitchell Racing Services, still that big fleet from Mitchell Racing Services here in F500. Don Caronaro, talked to him a little bit earlier, doing his first runoffs appearance here in Scuderia Frenzina Racing in this KBS MKV Rotex. David Vincent starts 23rd out of Leavenworth, Kansas in the XT Racing Rod End Supply KBS chassis Rotex. F. Russell Strite out of Alden, New York in the Hoosier Rocket Tech, and he's a Rocket Tech chassis F500. Chuck, the dad, starting with his son is there in 3rd. McAbey out of Jacksonville, Florida, in the Me, Myself, and I Motor Toys. You talked about that earlier. QRE Invader chassis. That's awesome. Chris Hood out of McKinley, Texas, in the Prosum Ventures KBS Mark 7 chassis starts in 26th. 27th, Owen Henley in the Barksdale, Texas Red Devil Rotex. And starting 28th on the field, completing the grid for F500, Glenn Schmill out of San Marcos, Texas, in the Blood, Sweat, and Tears. I don't think that's a sponsor. I think that's what he has going into that car in his Red Devil
Like
T2000.
so many of the cars here, like you and your Honda Civic. Blood, sweat, and tears, got it here to the race, and then
money.
Threw it upside down in the gravel after you lost a tire.
Perfect. Well, you talk with father and son racing in here, the Maccabees. You know, you got CJ and Chuck. It's going to be, CJ's looking for a national championship. I think Chuck's out here, having fun.
Having a good time.
You got to think if, Chuck's right on the back.
That's Chuck right there on the blue car, number 16.
So if Chuck is right behind the leader and they're lapping his dad, is team order is going to play a factor? I don't think Chuck would ever do.
But you can see both Maccabees in the shot. The 15 car, the red one to the right of your screen, that's CJ Maccabee. He's up there in 3rd.
Now, we do see a lot of different aero on these cars. Is that, if that's allowed in the rules, based on a weight, or is it just pretty much, if you can make it happen, make it happen?
Well, part of the creativity of Formula 500 is that it's not a spec chassis. It's a spec engine. But you can build your own chassis, so you can see all manner of variations on different theories of what's the quick way to get around a race circuit. at Road America, it's going to be really important to be very, very slick, low drag. And we can see the noses, like on the pole sitter, the Safe Racer pole man, James Wida, in the black and yellow car, and the third place car of CJ. They have that little nose piece on there that maybe is like a fairing for the front wheels. Could improve the aero.
Perfect. And looking a closer look at those cars, our man down on pit lane, John Bizignano.
Really a bit chilly down here, 51 degrees. And of course, that's the coldest these cars have run all weekend long. With these very light vehicles and only 500 cc's, to get some heat into these tires, they're really going to have to scrub them on the warm-up laps, a lot of back and forth, and make sure that when the flag drops that they are going to have some heat in the tires. I'm trying to get some heat in my hands. It wouldn't be an SCCA Runoffs if I didn't have my gloves and my scarf on, at least for one event. About 62 degrees is supposed to be the high today. That's almost 20 degrees colder than yesterday. I just want to point out it's quite a free class, and of course our third place qualifier has a very dramatic nose on the front of his F500, and of course these aerodynamic devices are to try and stop the give a little bit more flow over the front tires. Those front tires, they might look round and something easy for air to flow over, but really when you look at them head on, they're just a brick in the wind. I'm sure Randy can talk more to this. It's a great little class. It's going to be some close running. Let's get some heat in some tires. Let's get some heat here in the paddock and all around Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Okay, guys, I hope you're warm up there.
A brick in the wind. That doesn't look like a brick to me. Did you see the front suspension on that car? It was a great shot. They have a really sophisticated Formula One style front suspension with rockers, and the whole idea of that is to reduce aerodynamic drag and improve the way the suspension works and the roll centers. And as I mentioned earlier, it's chilly out there. You see how John was all bundled up in his gloves, and it's probably only in the 50s. And I wonder if they're going to be able to get tire temp on this cold track with these lightweight cars.
Yeah, it's going to be sketchy here on that first lap right after the green flag. I think on the pace lap you'll see a lot of those guys wearing that steering rack out, going back and forth, trying to get some heat built up into these tires. Most of the guys I see all on slick tires. Hoosiers, it looks like, so it seems to be the tire choice for these guys in F500. Different makes of cars and motors, but all the same motor, that 500cc Rotax motor. And talk about how powerful those things are. I know some of those motors are in ultralights. So if you can strap yourself into a glider that has an engine and you're going to use one of these motors, that tells you how powerful these motors are.
You know what we have here? We have an ultralight class for the ground. These cars are the lightest cars in our races in SCCA racing, and they are still one of the faster ones. So what the boys were telling me last night is one of the great things about this Formula 500 class is the bang for the buck, the speed for the price. You can't get close to it in any other class. These cars are really fast for the amount of money it takes to run them, which is not much. They're very, very good value for speed.
So instead of saving up for a year to race Road America and then crashing your car, I could run one of these cars for the whole year, probably. That'd be pretty cool.
Probably. I think that one crash could have been a whole year budget. And guess what? That smoke, that's normal for a two-stroke. Usually it'll go away once they warm up. Sometimes they might set them up a little too rich and you might see some smoke. It's something you can look for in the race if they have a clean running exhaust. Problem is if you go too lean, you blow it up. And the funny thing is about tuning one of these two-stroke motors is that the leaner it is, the faster you go until it blows. So it's a fine line.
And there always are, I know with going back to a two-stroke, Mazda rotary motor, I know that one is always the quickest right before it blows up.
Yeah, and that's true of many two-strokes. And they're carbureted. They're not fuel injected. They have a couple of Mikuni carbs that look like they came off of one of my motorcycles. In fact, maybe they did. And the boys rejet them for temperature conditions. They were telling me about a gauge they have last night that combines air density and temperature, and it tells them basically what jetting they want to run. And the jetting sets up how much fuel goes with the air, and it's really, really important to get the jetting correctly, get that mixture correct to make the most horsepower possible. And there are very few tracks where it's more important than right here at Road America.
And we talk about trying to get those tire temps in. I think the second James Weida left the pit lane, you saw him weaving back and forth as you see the gaggle of F500 cars. And what a great showing for them as well. 28 of these machines taking the green flag here. Everybody that made a practice time or a qualifying time made the field and made the grid. So that's also goes to the testament of the blood, sweat, and tears these guys put into these cars.
And the
reliability
of them. Thank you. I forgot because I was watching that one. Is that the 6 car, the blue and red one? I can still see the stickers on his tires, and same with the 17.
Yes,
so
Jeff
these guys,
Jorgensen.
they need to do some more warming up. They got to at least get the stickers off of them. It's cold out there. There's no track temperature.
Yeah, it's nice that the sun is out, but we do need that sun to start heating things up. It still is a little chilly here. Actually, have our jackets on. Even in the booth, it's still cold.
For one, I always take the stickers off the tires. Of course, I'm almost never the one preparing the car anymore. Lucky me. But that just seems like litter. Pull the stickers, put them in the trash. Come on. And in this class, I think it's going to improve your traction on the first lap. I mean, these guys are running on their stickers on the tires. That's not a good idea.
But you got to think too is with these little tiny wheels, and I'm not sure the wheel diameter on these, but small wheels.
Yes.
Would that even maybe throw off the balance of a tire? You got to think about that with the sticker. I mean,
you never know.
Yeah. I got a vibration already. Well, get the stickers off your tires. I can see the crews talking to them now.
What's funny is I don't see the track littered with litter from the stickers wearing off, because lots of teams will go out with their stickers still on. But to me, I'm a little environmentally conscious. In fact, I'm a lot, even though I race cars. And I take them off and throw them away. And hopefully these guys can get them all scraped off before the start. I don't think you can recycle adhesives. That's a messy process.
But the track, as actually even offline, the track surface is nice and clean. The Road America crews went out there with the sweeper truck, pretty much after the festivities ended yesterday, all the way up till today to get the track clean and make sure they have a nice racing surface. We saw that yesterday. We're on the outside here into the kink. It was just littered with marbles. Very little debris there now as we start fresh today.
And we had that shot of the corner marshal walking around in the middle of the track looking like he was doing nothing. He was looking for debris. And when I see that, that makes me feel really good, because like you're a flat tire. It could have been from a bolt that fell off of a car and went through your tire. And I'm happy to know that somebody's out there looking after the track, trying to make it safer for me and my companions as we go race. And that's one of the many things that the SCCA corner workers do, like this group right here holding the yellow for these guys as they enter Canada corner.
Yeah, you see half of them holding the yellow and the other half have a thumbs up. What a great scene to see. The SCCA all volunteer, those course workers, and if you want to help out those course workers, go to sponsoraflagger.com. It's a donation site where you can give some money, and they make gift cards for these flaggers that come out. They do a raffle or a drawing at the end of the event. It's a really great thing, so make sure you check out Sponsor a Flagger. Watching these guys come out of turn number 14 up this long front stretch, we'll see the Road America pace car pull off into the pits. And we're waiting for that green flag as they come underneath the Caterpillar Bridge. It will be James Weida and Michael Mueller on the front row as we're waiting on the green flag. Should be just any moment now, and we are going to be green. It's the green flag out, starting the 2013 50th running of the SCCA Runoffs. James Weida, and I tell you what, I talked to these guys earlier. They said the draft does play a factor with these little cars. They're coming down now, 3 wide, 4 wide, down into turn number 1.
And into the lead. Holy cow. CJ Maccabee sticks it in the lead. He's aggressive. He must be young.
Boy, and your pole sitter got shuffled back. He's all the way back into 5th place. Boy, what a great diving move there from CJ Maccabee. I don't think if anybody can make a better pass, that might be our GoPro hero move of the race right there. I'll tell you, I don't care if he DNFs right now. That was a heck of a move into turn number 1.
And he's continuing to run at that pace. CJ got up early. He's a morning person, I'm telling you.
And Michael Mueller slots into 2nd place, his starting order. In the 47, Michael Brent comes from 7th all the way up to 3rd on the start. Late braking maneuver here by the...
Nice move down the outside.
I believe that's Steve Jondal in the number 38 F500, and he's trying to make the move for 3rd coming up underneath the Corvette Bridge.
Again, he had that extra cup of coffee. Stephen Jondal is moving. He's got the setup this morning.
And I think now we've gone through a couple corners at speed. There ain't no stickers left on those tires.
Yeah, it looks like they've got the traction. And I'll tell you, James Wida, he was not too worried about it. I think the tires are so soft that they work even in the cold temps.
And James Wida, I believe, all the way back to 6th place now in the running. Your pole sitter, your Safe Racer Gold pole sitter, shuffled back in the standings.
Steve Johndal through the carousel. He's rocking. Got Aaron Ellis right on his tail, though.
Another driver making a move there. As we see the number 22, there is your pole sitter, James Wida. He's going to want to try to tuck in underneath the car in front of him, try to get the draft coming into Canada quarter, move back up through this field, because, boy, that's not the strategy I think he wanted to do. As a pass here between the number 47 of Michael Brent and Steve Johndell for 3rd place. Johndell wants it, and the 31's going to slide in there. That's Stephen Thompson out of Royal Oak, Michigan,
He's
making
way
it a
up the
3-way battle
standings.
for 3rd now.
It's interesting, the pace here and the aggressiveness of some of these drivers. Boy, they're ready to go.
And do you have to get it done early in these cars, or do you have a time to save it?
It's clear that these tires and these cars are ready to go right off the bat.
And there goes Michael Miller. We talked about the draft earlier, but now can McAbee do the draft again? Back here, CJ looking to the inside, down there,
double
side
draft.
by side. Double pass down the front straightaway. For the lead, it's going to be CJ McAbee into the lead. The Topeka's, Kansas driver. Boy, what a move he made, but don't count out Mueller. He's a 2-time champion. Back to the inside here, down into turn number 3. Can he stick it? Look at this, side by side, 3 passes in less than 15 seconds. How about that for
They're
the lead in
all over
F500?
the road. I don't think they can bump draft, though. They don't have the body work for it. Look at him. He says, I'm taking the inside of that turn 5. So for a mile and a half, he's driving down the inside. I love it.
Oh, this is great stuff here as we see the battle back there for 3rd as well. Now to the
he opens
inside,
the door.
CJ McAbee onto the inside, down here to turn number 5. Pretty sketchy through here and back up the hill. He makes the pass. Now can Mueller make the side-by-side over-under, back up to the Corvette bridge. Not sure you want to go side-by-side through here.
That's incredible.
And they're going to make it stick. Well, I think CJ took the better part of valor there, got out of it and let him go and says, well, this draft is working for me. I'll make it happen a little bit later.
That is amazing. It looks like the last lap. These guys are going to be whipped if they keep it up like this the whole time, and so are we.
Well,
You can hear the tires right on the edge of their grip, can't you?
Yeah, they sure can. As Mueller now out in front. CJ McAbee in 2nd place. And a little bit of a gap there. McAbee. So I keep getting his name wrong there.
You mentioned that Mueller has won this thing 2 times in a row. Is it like, was it 11 and 12?
11 and 12. He is the reigning champion, trying to make it 3 in a row. And not many people have done that. There's a few looking to see if he can add himself into the history books.
Wow, well, he's got CJ right on his tail, and the 2 of them are just leaving the rest of the field.
Side by side once again, out of the kink as they come down. It looks like CJ has the advantage there, makes the pass. Mueller back here to the outside, going to look and see if he can get an over-under here.
Yeah, CJ's in a little hot. Didn't get a good exit. Look at that run Mueller has. Tough to pull off a pass into 13, though. Whoa, did he touch
and there's
him?
a yellow flag there.
Oh,
We had a
yellow
standing
flag.
yellow, so not sure what that's about. We'll have to see if we can see what that is when they come through here.
Yeah, I can't see it yet. Maybe there's somebody out of camera range up against the wall there as they head up on the straight.
Now,
that
can Mueller
draft
tuck in
really
and-
seems to work these things.
About 0.2 of a second separated these drivers
Here he comes.
in last lap
The
time.
draft is working. Mueller pulls out. He's up next to McAbee again, going down into 1. CJ's going to try him on the outside. Can't make it work.
Now, you do see some aero here. I see the diffusers in the back. These guys, do they have a little bit of downforce on these cars?
Just a little. There is a flat bottom, but they're allowed a diffuser, and they're allowed that nose piece, which looks to me like it could create a little bit of downforce just from pushing through the wind as opposed to having nothing at all. But it may add drag.
It does look like CJ's car with that front nose would have a little bit of an advantage. And here he goes right down to the inside of Mueller, side by side once again, down into turn number 5. And I got to kind of think that these guys are starting to see where they can pass each other on the draft. Maybe I don't want to pass him right away, as we saw Mueller do, and then get repassed into turn 1 previous.
Well, you know what? A good draft like that makes for a great race. You're so vulnerable on these long straightaways. You've got nothing to do but sit there while the guy behind you comes up and goes by you. And it makes your strategy choices late in the race critical and really, really interesting for the spectator.
Well, these two guys drafting each other like this, that's allowed them to pull almost a 6-second lead. James Weeda back up to 3rd place now, so the pole sitter is trying to make a comeback, even though he is 6 seconds back. We'll see if that gap is improved the next time by. But through the carousel, on the edge of adhesion, it is CJ Wilson. CJ Wilson, that's funny.
I know, he races Mazdas, the pitcher. But what we're seeing here is that James Weeda was a little conservative in the early morning temperatures, whereas especially CJ Maccabee and Michael Mueller, they were ready to go. They're the only cars in the 25s. These 3 cars are the only ones running 25s. Nobody else is even close. So it could be, though, that if Maccabee and Mueller keep racing so hard, that you're going to see Weeda reeling them in. Here we are back in the pack, boy. The action is hot and heavy.
Yeah, I saw Corey McLeod in that battle there, and he's trying to run down these 3 front cars in front of him. And one of those cars is that number 60 of Jay Beckley. I mentioned
so we're
Jay
looking at
Beckley.
13th, 14th, 15th position, and they're racing tooth and nail.
And I mentioned Jay Beckley earlier. This is his first Runoffs, the rookie. 5 rookies in this F500 vehicle. That is Steve Moore's old car. Steve Moore's got a lot of history in the F500 class. Number 67, Jack Walburn out of St. Louis, Missouri. One of those Mitchell Racing Services stabled cars, and that car looks to be just very well maintained from Mitchell. We still have that yellow flag there. Not sure what that's for.
I'm betting there's a dead car off to the side. Here for 4th place, more action. Into turn 1. Whoa, did you see how close they were?
Yeah, Steve Jondell, Stephen Thomas, Aaron Ellis, Chris Larson, and Michael Brent all in this battle for the 4th place.
John Dell was up there for a short time at the beginning of the race. Didn't have the pace to lead, but boy, he's in a race.
Steve Jondell had it as they crossed the line, but now Chris Larson has it.
A pack of 6 cars, nose to tail, coming down the long, long straightaway into turn 5. They can brake so late at the bottom of that hill, it's unbelievable because they're so light.
Yeah, speaking late, look, Stephen Thompson broke way late there, picked up, I think, a position or 2 coming down into turn number 5. Battle
Somebody's
raging
trying
on.
to into 6 in the back of the group.
Aaron Ellis leads this group right now, followed by Stephen Jondell and then the 31 of Stephen Thompson.
You know what? You come out here to race. I don't care if it's for 4th or 14th.
And Stephen
These
Thompson
guys
down to
are
the
on it.
inside, trying to get 2 positions, does not make it. He goes
gets
up into 5th
but it may
now.
not hold.
Oh, we see the 09 off the course there, Russell Straight. Looks like a little off and on, but boy, look at the debris you see falling out of the back of his machine.
He's kind of cleaning off the tires, and it's spinning them a little bit and giving them a little fishtail. Heading for the kink. This is the 4th place battle.
Aaron Ellis leading once again in that battle, and probably flat out through the kink in these cars, Randy.
It looks like they just got by the 09 that just got back on the track. I think it is. I don't hear them lifting. Of course, that's kind of tough to tell on an F500. They have a sophisticated transmission that is continuously variable ratio. And what it does is it keeps the engine right on its power peak all the time and changes the ratio automatically. It's a 2-pedal car. It's got a brake and a gas.
Not that I like to call them go-karts, but that's similar to how a go-kart works, you know. And just got a word that CJ Maccabee is in the pit lane, and yet we see them starting to drop down the grid there.
Bad.
So, that's unfortunate. I don't see from our broadcast booth location where his pit spot is, but that's got to be a hard
Mueller
break
all
for
alone
him.
up there. And their speeds are still coming down radically.
Back paddock for CJ Maccabee.
CJ Maccabee is out of the race after a great start and an amazing battle with Michael Mueller.
And this battle for 4th now has become a battle for the podium with the 31 of Steven Johnson leading over the 43 of Aaron Ellis. Aaron Ellis was in 4th when they crossed the line, not anymore, with Stephen Jondell now back to 6th. So this is a battle for the podium position where before they were just battling for 4th. You never know when it can happen.
Look at the shuffling going on back here in this race for 3rd place.
Yeah.
This is where the action is right now.
Oh, the 31
Thompson
down.
with a late move.
Wow, you gotta watch
Couldn't quite
that.
pull it off. I think he had a little too much rear bias.
And now Chris Larson getting on the backside of Thompson by having to make that little bit of a mistake there. That move that he made, he's under attack by that number 17.
You can see how light and quick they are. These guys can just flip those cars about left and right And I think it'd be pretty intimidating to see that in your mirrors, the way they move so quickly.
But with C.J. McAbee now behind the wall, that puts Michael Mueller, the two-time champ, looking for 3 in a row to the lead. James Weida is behind him, your pole sitter. He's 5.6 seconds back, and it's sort of been that gap. Even with the front 2 cars, it's always been about the 5.5-second mark.
Yeah,
Doesn't
but
look like
Weida's
Weida's
warmed up. Look at him. He's got the fastest lap of the race at the moment. I don't know if he can reel him in, but he's a little quicker.
Working on lap number 5 of 13. It is 13 laps or 40 minutes, whichever comes first for these F500 cars. Should have no problem getting the full 13 laps in. And there he is, Michael Mueller, the number 24 Formula 500, sponsored, of course, by MJ Manufacturing and Hoosier Tires on that car. Can he do it? Hold it together. Make it 3 championships in a row.
It looks like the Formula 500 class does not subscribe to the theory that the right lane is shorter up the hill at Road America. They're all driving right up the left side of the road, and whereas we saw some cars going back across the track, I'm real skeptical that that's faster to go back and forth like that.
Well, you said James Weida is just warming up. He lowers his best lap time now to a 2:23.195, a half second quicker than Mueller, and makes that gap down to 4.5 seconds. He is on. You saw the gap on the straightaway there.
Check it out. That's 1.2 seconds faster than Mueller went last lap. If he can keep that up, he's going to catch him.
Oh, easily catch him. But once again, 2-time champ. Catching a guy is a lot different than passing a guy. But in 500, we've seen that draft. If he can get a little bit of a toe, who knows who's going to happen?
If he gets into his draft, look out. Now, Mueller, I wonder if he has a radio. I wonder if he knows what's going on. Because in a lot of SCCA classes, the guys don't spend the money or maybe don't even have the crew guy to run that. He may not be aware that Weida's back there coming like a hungry bear after a wounded fawn.
Well, I mean,
there's Mueller coming out of turn 7.
And there's a great shot of Weida.
Weida, look at that. He's within range. He's coming. It'll be real interesting to see the lap times these 2 cars turn this time.
I do see an antenna on Weida's car, so we know that he has a radio. The crew talking to him, telling him to.
And Weida is our safe racer pole man. So he is the quickest car in this field, at least in qualifying, and he looks a little loose through the carousel, doesn't he?
Yeah, he sure was.
I'm telling
on
you,
the
that's
edge
hairy
there.
to wiggle your tail like that through the carousel. He's a late bloomer. He's like me. You know, I kind of came on late in my, I don't know quite how to say that without making myself
you say
look
late
old.
in the career?
Anyway, let's go back to James Weida. That's a better subject.
That sounds good, yeah.
But he's definitely a late bloomer in this race. He's getting faster and faster. Let's see if Mueller's going to crank it up.
And we do have that yellow flag removed now out of turn 13.
We're getting back into 14. We'll keep you posted on the lap times as they come across the start-finish line. We're working lap 6.
Well, we'll
so
see
we got a long way to go here.
We sure do. We'll see if James Weida can continue to gap Mike Mueller as he crosses the line here. Let's see what that gap is. 2:23.4 for Mike Mueller on his time and a 2:23.9, so extended it back a little bit now.
Yeah.
5-second gap, so Mueller got the word that Weida was coming. Well, we'll see if James Weida can continue to run. We'll be back right after this. The 2013 SCCA Runoffs are brought to you by Mazda. Zoom, zoom.
It's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You wish the freeway on-ramp was your personal racetrack. Well, buckle up, buddy, because the Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and events across the country, the SCCA has all the excitement you can handle. Dance the blacktop two-step with SCCA Solo. Get down and dirty with SCCA Rallycross. Or go wheel-to-wheel with SCCA Club Racing. Hit the track with the SCCA, where America's best drivers race.
He ignored the naysayers and never compromised. When Thomas Edison threw the switch, it changed everything. Engineering without compromise. This is the Mazda way. And this is the Mazda CX-5. Skyactiv technology makes it lighter yet stronger, earning a top safety pick. And more fuel efficient than any hybrid SUV. This is the uncompromised Mazda CX-5. What do you drive?
All right, we're back here at the 2013 SCCA Runoffs, the 50th running of these runoffs here at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And we talked about that battle before we went to break with James Weida trying to run down two-time champion. I don't want to say it too soon. Michael Mueller, who is leading right now. The gap the last lap by was 5 seconds. Now we're starting to see another factor come in, lap traffic.
Yeah, there's a wide variation in speed in the Formula 500 class, which is not unusual in a Formula class where you have a lot of freedom and creativity and setup and chassis. And boy, Weida, he's working it to try to reel in Mueller.
And got another car off the side there. I did see a car there in turn number 13. Backwards, just into the sand trap.
Yeah, too bad.
And James Weida now can see Mueller right in front of him. That's not a 5-second gap anymore, about a 2.5-second gap now as Mueller crosses the line. Traffic got held up a little bit, only a 2:28.5, so 5 seconds quicker. 2:25 was 5 seconds slower than his last lap. 3 seconds quicker, James Weida. The gap is now only 1.8 seconds.
I'll tell you, he has that Mueller car in his sights, and he's just trying to reel him in. I know he's just giving it, and it looks like he's got something for him. You know, he's a little quicker, and it's a lot easier to be Weida and have that rabbit that you're chasing than it is to be Mueller and have somebody starting to run you down.
Well, for those CJ Maccabee fans getting word from pit lane that it was a broken pipe, and with the tuning that these pipes have to have to try to get the maximum, the exhaust pipe just unfortunately broken exhaust pipe.
Too bad. That's a real problem on a two-stroke. The exhaust chamber is an important part of how that engine runs.
Well, if it makes him feel any better, my vote is the move of the race for the GoPro Hero camera is his pass into turn 1.
I'm with you. That's
I
still
think that was
the move of the race, but we don't know what's going to happen.
Move here. We got to watch this move here. James Weida and
Weida's
Michael
still
Mueller, this is
catching
not
him.
over yet. Can the move of the race be for a 3-time champion for Mueller, or can James Weida come back from as low as 7th place after being on the Safe Racer pole and get his national championship?
It looks like traffic may have hurt Mueller that last lap. He lost 3 seconds in one lap, even though it appears his car's working. Look at that tail out. That loose car as Weida's running through the carousel. If the car's a little free, Cole, it runs quicker. Remember that from Days of Thunder?
Loose is fast.
Loose is fast. And this is a race. Mueller's in trouble. Weida is running him down. We're 8 laps there. We're working the 8th lap. So we've still got several laps, and he's on him. Wow, he caught him quick.
Yeah, right through there. I think I'm not sure how far back you have to be in these little cars, but with the hole they punch in the air, John Biziano mentioned it before, a brick through the air.
Yes.
You have to just barely get enough of a brake that you can pull right up onto the guy. And here now, coming out of turn number 14 onto the front stretch, it will be James Weida running down Mueller. Can he get the draft and make the pass here? He wants to do it later so he can get first place through turn number 1.
$20 says he's going by for the lead.
I don't have $20. I'm not a professional race driver like you, Randy.
Weida pulls out of the draft and goes right by Mueller.
Look at that.
Maybe that nose piece is working on top end because he's got the top end. I mean, went right by him. Maybe Mueller's car's fallen off because Mueller looked real good coming out of 14. He had good exit speed, quick in the corner, even though he's bouncing pretty good.
Yeah, he sure did, and he did not be able to tuck right back under him. We've seen that when they were drafting with CJ Maccabee before. They were really doing that.
Jumped right
he
back
is.
In the
He's
draft.
pulled off to the right. I just saw my monitor there. He is well off the pace now.
Okay.
Looks a lot slower than he was.
Weida's looking strong. He's gone by
his
Mueller.
hand is up. Michael Mueller's
in trouble.
Cannot three-peat. It will not be 3 straight. Still, 2-time champ Michael Mueller, his race is done.
I wonder if he got that Rotex a little too lean, you know.
Boy, so you start with a battle for 4th between Aaron Ellis, Steve Thompson, Yandel, Brent, and Larson. Now that's a battle for 3rd. Now it's a battle for 2nd. Boy, it just continues on.
Wow. And Weida is way out in front all by himself, but he still turned his best lap of the race at 22.6. Got that draft off of Mueller, and he's looking good. Now it's about reliability. Just have a good time staying on your pace. Even though you have a big lead, you can't back off too much because you'll lose focus and just make a mistake from not being on your regular rhythm.
Yeah, 4.5 laps left here. Can he hold it together and make it happen? Here we go.
Here's
back
your
to that
battle.
battle for second.
Now for second. The 31 car is Stephen Thompson. He's still leading that group.
Yeah, 43 of Aaron Ellis had third last time across the line. He's back into third, or sorry, he had second last time by. He's in third. 38 car of Stephen Jondal.
So it's a 3-car group. They have gapped the rest of the field. It was a 6-car group last time we saw them.
And Aaron Ellis down to the inside of
All
Thompson.
3 wide.
And look at Stephen Jondal trying to see if he can follow Ellis through, and Ellis is going to make the pass. Wow, way outside there for Stephen Thompson. That's going to allow Jondal to get down to the inside.
Yeah, the Formula 500s don't have a lot of suspension, so they're not fast on the curbs.
So
and the 43, Aaron Ellis, gets it into the lead of this group, which is right now that's second, third, and fourth we're looking at on the racetrack. You never know.
Yeah, it seems lap to lap that changes, so we might see a battle for the lead going between these 3 guys here.
Look
I never
at
want to
the
jinx
gap.
James Weida, our safe racer pole position winner, but
I am so surprised at the gap we're seeing when a minute ago in Canada Corner, 2 turns ago, the cars were neck and neck. That's incredible. Down here into turn 3, Aaron Ellis leads the pack, racing for second place.
And traditionally, as the race goes on with these cars, because of all the rubber and the push rod and no real shocks, they start to bounce a lot more. That rubber starts to get worn a little bit.
Maybe it heats up.
That's something they change on these cars every single race, every single session, some of these guys. So we'll have to start watching for that. The handling starts falling off on these cars as well.
In this class, you're not allowed a normal spring and shock absorber. The suspension is done with rubber cones, which is actually similar to how the original Mini did it. And the good thing about rubber is that it is self-damping. You don't get a lot of recoil. The bad thing is it appears it may get kind of warm and maybe less effective later in the race. We're definitely seeing a little more bouncing in some of the bumpy sections. And the Thompson car looked really like its speed was hurt a lot when he got out on the curbs in Canada.
And Aaron Ellis looks like he's putting his head down, trying to get a gap so that way Steve Jondal and Michael Brent cannot try to run him down. Steve Thompson in the 31 car there behind Stephen Jondal. They're going to utilize that draft. This is for the battle now of third for your final podium position, as Aaron Ellis able to get a little bit of a gap, and it is Steve Thompson onto the inside. Well, it's the outside of this little extra kink on the outside, but can he be on the inside down here into Canada Corner?
He actually drafted up on him in the kink and pulled out on the exit. Don't see that very often, as Thompson puts it up into third place.
And Aaron Ellis got a huge gap now between this battle for third. That allowed him to pull away. Don't think the draft will be a factor for second place, but there, wow, saw a good look at Steve Thompson just looking in his mirror back at Steve Jondal.
You know, if these 2 guys would hook up and run together, they might be able to reel Aaron Ellis back in, because he's getting away right now.
Yeah, he sure is. Speaking of getting away, we can't forget that James Weida has pulled away. 16.8 seconds is the gap. His best lap was a 22.6, but he did lap a second slower than Aaron Ellis that last lap.
He's backed it off a little bit. I think he's playing it smart, but with the traffic here, you just never know. There's a wide variety of speed in the F500 class.
Boy, Stephen Thompson got way sideways there. 4-wheel drift over the curbs, 4-wheeled off the line there through the exit of turn number 1, wearing those tires out.
And Jondal's got that little lockup. They're going for it back there. I mean, that's for third. That's for the podium here at the SCCA Runoffs.
Now, you do have a choice in tire compound, so we might be seeing that these guys went with the softest setup. Now that we've had 10 laps running here, it's got a little bit warmer, probably about 5-6 degrees warmer now as it was before.
And we can
Maybe
hear
these tires
it
are starting to come in. Maybe the tires are getting more grippier, more race
Could
tires.
be.
There it is. Steve Jondal on the
Could
inside
be.
of Steve Thompson for pass for third. This is for the final podium position in 500. The 38 of Stephen Jondal into third place. Steve Thompson back to fourth, but it ain't over yet. Trying to get the draft here out of, I believe that's the downhill coming out of turn number 5.
Out of 7, heading for turn
7.
8. They call it Hurry Downs here at Road America. And Thompson is trying to get it back from Jondal, and it looks like they've just given up on Ellis. This is a race for third.
Yeah,
The heck was second. He's out of range.
We're not going to run him down. Let's just battle for the podium here. Boy, both cars sideways through the carousel.
I love
not
that
sure
drift.
what you want to do. Wow.
That is cool. Well, the road goes downhill right there, and it makes cars free up. You lose grip. Down through the kink, flat out. These cars are gaining on 130 miles an hour as they come into Canada corner. Yandel is a little bit protective there. Thompson not in a position to try. Look at that, though. Steve Thompson's keeping it off the curbs now.
Yeah, one little error, one little mistake, you put one little wheel wrong, you're going to lose a podium spot here at the SCCA Runoffs. Do not want to have that happen. Steven Yandel leading right now to turn number 14. Can Steve Thompson tuck up under his rear pipe, get the draft down into turn number 1? I'm not sure who wants to be ahead as you come out of turn number 14 here.
That's the truth. Thompson is catching him, though, but it's taking the whole straightaway for him to get there. Let's see if he pulls out and tries to give it a shot down in 1. Maybe a last-minute surprise attack. Not happening.
2 laps left here, so I think it's going to be a point of, if you're Stephen Thompson, do you want to try to tuck up underneath him, see where the best draft is, or do you want to say, hey, I'm just going to get around him and hopefully hold him off to the line?
Steve Yandel leaving a little tire smoke. That's probably lockup into every corner. Yandel may have a little bit too much front bias in the brakes. If he'd crank it back a little bit, he'd be able to stop better. Look at Thompson's right on him. But they're catching traffic too. And if you're lapping somebody in an SCCA runoffs race, they are much slower than you are, and it could really hurt you if you catch them in the wrong place. Big wiggle from Jondal. Didn't hurt his speed. Caught it with those quick hands.
Looks like you got to be pretty quick, and he says, wow.
Whoa!
That lap car there got a little bit loose on the outside there. Steve Jondal, great heads up from him. Steve Thompson, though, back on the rear bumper now. I say bumper, but it's more of a carbon fiber diffuser.
See that little bit of smoke? He's working the brakes. He's on the limit. Thompson gets a better exit. He's thinking about the outside of the carousel. Still having a look. This is where they drift as they head down that little downhill. Oh, he's looking strong. Thompson looking strong.
Yeah, look at that right there. I don't think he's going to make the move in the kink, but he'll definitely do it coming out of the kink if he's going to make the move down into Canada corner. Whoa,
that's
no.
Not good. Not
Can he
good.
save it?
Come
Can
on,
he save it?
Steven.
Oh, just barely tapped it there.
Puts it in the grass. Maybe he's okay. I don't know. He can't get away with much of a guardrail tap on an open wheel car. Oh, too bad. You know what? I think he was so close up behind Jondal that it took some of the air off of his nose piece, and he lost the grip.
Yeah,
it looked like he just drove it right off the road.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Stephen Thompson can recover from that and hold his 4th position, or did Michael Brent get by him? But how about James Weida takes the 1 lap to go sign from start-finish here at Road America.
And that explains why Stephen Thompson was so hard after Steve Jondal. He wanted that position.
You still got to pay attention there to the lap traffic there.
Weida
The 0
taking
car
it
of
easy.
Owen Henley, trying to see if he can just complete the race here, getting around. Looks like he's having problems with his machines, but James Weida, no problems whatsoever so far underneath that Sargento Bridge, down the hill here, and this is a nice, smooth downhill down into turn number 5.
He's on that last lap all by himself. Nothing but some kind of tragic mechanical could stop him now.
Boy, your safe racer pole position winner, James Weida, that Weida Apartments Formula X1 and a Scorpion chassis, getting the job done so far. Coming up to the Corvette Bridge, nice left turn here. I love that corner. That's one of my favorite corners on this track.
Oh yeah, you pop up on top of that hill and you have to turn in immediately while the car's light. Diabolical design.
13.9 second gap he had last time by. Assuming there's no issues that pop up. I never want to say that. I call it the announcer's curse when you start saying something about something like, oh, look how great he's doing, and then next time it happens. So we're not going to say how great he's doing, but he had a great run in qualifying, qualified on the pole.
And if you have experience in racing, you know it ain't over until you're going under that checkered flag. You have got to bring it home, and anything crazy could happen.
It's happened before. You saw that with just right there in the kink with Steve Thompson before. Was trying to go for that final podium and fell right off, and lucky he didn't wipe his car out. That many times you can make a mistake in the kink and get away with it.
Yeah, it looks like Stephen Thompson is still running.
Yeah, he dropped all the way back to 6th. Unfortunately, was
I
4th
think he's
before.
limping it home. Wheeler running good, just 2 more corners. Come on, James. I met him last night, and he said that there were probably 5 cars with a real shot at winning this race. And at the beginning of the race, it looked like maybe more than that. But it's become a matter of preparation. He's pulling strong. He's almost home.
Well, now he can coast to the victory. It will be James Weeda, your 2013 50th running of the SCCA Runoffs, your F500 champion.
Congratulations.
Won the Safe Racer pole and gets the win here today. Looking at second place, Aaron Ellis, as he comes across the line. Aaron will get second. Started in the 5th position in his Carlisle CFF Ellis Motorsports F500.
He had quite a battle.
And that battle
for the first half of the race
against Stephen Jondal and Stephen Thompson
There's Steve Jondal.
will get it with,
Comes home third. Attaway cars, I believe, a little bit further back. Don Colanero.
Yeah, Colanero was one of our lap vehicles doing his first start, just loving life. But congratulations to your podium in F500. It will be James Weeda, followed by Aaron Ellis and Stephen Jondal in 3rd.
They had a heck of a race back there. Remember, it was for 5th, then it was for 4th, then it was for 3rd, then it was for 2nd. I mean, just by being there, which is the first rule of racing. In order to finish first, you must first finish.
Yeah, great run from all the competitors in the F500 category, and you see them coming by and finishing there as we saw the
Charlie Schliessman.
And once again, we mentioned it before. Look at the course workers here on the side. They're waving. He's clapping. Just had
That's
the
fire
best,
crew. You can
best
tell by
race
their
of
outfits.
his life. And, rookie here. And
there's nothing like being at the runoffs. You got to come out and do it. When it's at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca last year, we're going to see some new faces. The West Coast guys are going to dominate the entries for sure because it's in their neighborhood. But I think it's going to attract drivers from all over the country because Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca is one of the greatest tracks on earth.
And there is James Weeda, followed by Aaron Ellis, number 1 and number 2.
Big win
together now, coming down through the carousel.
A big win here at the SCCA Runoffs. And you notice they've got one pipe. It's Siamese. They're a twin-cylinder engine, but the 2 exhausts go into that one chamber. That's the rule. It's required to be that way. And the engine builders say, hey, it works. It works.
Well, this is James Weeda's 8th start at the Runoffs. His previous finish best was 4th, so never been on the podium at the Runoffs, and he gets his first podium, and it's a victory.
Wow. Well, he had that steely-eyed glint last night. I think James was serious about this. And you know what? I think he had a lot of confidence in his car, frankly, because he was not aggressive the first 3 laps in the cold temperatures. Whereas the young guy, C.J. Maccabee, was. Unfortunately, his car broke because he was up there fighting for the lead from them. He had that actually, it was really a great pass into 1 for the lead.
And I guess we do have some pull here because C.J. Maccabee is going to get that GoPro Hero move of the race for that move from 3rd to 1st on the start right into turn number 1.
Well, he deserves it. You nailed that from right at that moment, Jeff.
I'll tell you what.
So he's going to get a GoPro Hero 3 camera.
Which, I'll say it again, I still don't have one.
Jeff,
come on, GoPro people,
you gotta
let's go.
Get out there and dive bomb somebody in turn 1, man.
So I need to find a car. Then I need to do a race.
Your
and
dad
make a
has
move.
like 6 cars. You got to get on his good side again.
Half of them are at my house.
Ever since you started beating him, it hasn't been the same.
Well, congratulations once again to James Weeda. We have our man down on pit lane, John Bizignano. He'll be able to speak with our podium finishers in just a few minutes here, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's give you a top 5 rundown. Once again, it was James Weeda, your winner. Aaron Ellis in 2nd, Stephen Jondal in 3rd, Chris Larson in 4th, and Michael Brent complete your top 5.
And you know what? That's a Scorpion chassis that won. Aaron Ellis in 2nd calls his car an Ellis. No doubt built it himself. Came home in 2nd place. And the 38 car of John Dahl, that's a Red Devil. So we've got 3 different chassis up there in the lead of the race. Although look at Weeda's car.
And
it looks aerodynamic, doesn't it?
And we'll go down to our man, John Bizignano, with your national champion.
Let's get the Hoosier necklace on. Congratulations to Hoosier for another win. I tell you, they've been dominating
Bonnie's going to come in here with the gold medal. Jim, let me ask you, pole position, but then like 7th on the first lap. What happened?
I was a sitting duck on the, going into the first turn. Maccabee got a good run on me, and then a couple guys dove underneath him, and I just sat back and watched. I had a bad start, but I knew I had a fast car going in, so we just were patient.
Patience is not something a race car driver can easily have, but I'll tell you, you were running down the leaders sometimes at 1.5 seconds a lap.
Yeah, I was. We made some slight changes from qualifying due to the weather change, and I think that was the main.
What were those?
Did a slight gear change, maybe pull a little more mile an hour on the top end.
Well, it certainly showed out there, especially the fast track like this in Elkhart Lake. When you're back there, sometimes it's easier to follow than it is to lead, but then you got the lead and pulled straight away again.
Yeah, all week I'd been running by myself, so it was sort of nice to have somebody to follow. I hadn't had that all week, and I was just concentrating on the fast guys in front of me, and I was just reeling them in lap after lap. And it was it was tough at first because the track was real slippery through the carousel. So I usually can go full out through there, but I was having to breathe it through there, and I don't know if most of the guys were having to do that or not.
Well, congratulations on a really patient victory.
Thank you.
Alrighty, second place. I'll tell you, there was more action a little bit further back than there was up front, but Aaron certainly was in the middle of it, and you don't want to say inherited second place because surviving a race like this is also part of the deal. Aaron, were you more comfortable standing up, or do you want to sit there and relax there for a second? Let me ask you, buddy. My gosh, you were in the most of the action throughout the whole race, but then you were able to break free. Where'd you get away from them?
Just eventually was able to get them on the straightaways a little bit, stay right with them in the turns, but just had a little bit more on the straightaway to pull away, I think, and that helped me break free.
Jim was talking about that they actually changed the gearing for the colder weather. Were there any changes that you made between qualifying and the race itself?
We made a small clutch change, but not a big change. So we kind of figured the weather into it, and no big changes. But so it drove like I thought it would, and overall pretty well pleased.
Seemed very relaxed in the cockpit again. Congratulations, silver medal coming in for this gentleman. Let's make sure we get a shot of him in the silver medal. We don't want to be rolling backwards into the third place guy, which of course is Steve Jordell. Steve just getting the bronze medal, but Steve, maybe you had more fun than anybody else out there because there were people all over you the entire race. You didn't have the luxury of being alone at all.
No, I had a lot of fun out there. Sometimes you're off on your own and it's not nearly, as exciting as, dealing with the traffic, and you can trust most of the drivers. And I had a few spin in front of me we missed, and I had nose to tail a lot, and it's great fun. Can't have any more fun than this for the dollar.
Randy's up in the booth, and he's talking about how sometimes it's easier to follow than to lead, but my gosh, you were just right in the mix of it the whole time. How much time do you spend, checking out the competition and behind you as trying to get ahead of the people in front of you?
Well, you got to know where they're at because you don't know if they got a draft on you or something, but you can see all right with the mirrors, and you just got to get a feel for it and cut them a little slack now and then because, they're going to do a move on the inside, and so am I if I can. So, great fun.
Great fun. Okay. Well, obviously, this class is one of those classes that the SCCA promotes for entry level. Of course, people have been doing it for many, many years also. Sometimes there's a 3-time champion within this particular class year after year after year. So if you are on that couch in your living room, Formula 500 is a class that isn't that expensive to where you can't go out, buy a used car, or go ahead and assemble a new car and get out here and actually go racing. Think about it. SCCA.com will have all the information you need. There you go, guys. It's warming up a little bit. It must be up to at least 53 now.
I'll tell you what, I love that. You people at home, do it. Time is now. Go get yourself a car, come out and get on the track with us in the SCCA.
Yeah, it could be like James Wida getting your first podium and making that with a win. And you go back to Aaron Ellis. Now, Aaron Ellis, this is his 22nd runoffs. He's had, this is his 5th podium now, and he was the 2000 champ at Mid-Ohio in Formula 500. So, broad range of finishers on our podium.
Yeah, and in third place, Stephen Johndal. I recognize that accent. He's local. He's got that Wisconsin going on. Sounds a little bit almost Canadian. He's from Somerset, Wisconsin. So it must be great. He's probably got his family here to cheer him on. In fact, a lot of family is involved in these SCCA teams.
And looking at your top 10 now, here it was James Weeda, once again, your 2013 SCCA Runoffs champion. Aaron Ellison second. Stephen Jondal gets third. Chris Larson in fourth. Michael Brent was fifth. Jeff Jorgensen, my buddy from San Francisco region, was sixth. Jake Walbrin was seventh. Jay Beckley, eighth. Corey, we call him Corey McLeod, was ninth. And Jeff Blumenthal gets 10th. Great job for Jeff. That was his first runoff, so great job for a top 10.
Yeah, he's up from 18th.
Look at some of the action that happened here at the green flag, that move by CJ Maccabee down into turn number 1. More action here as they draft. Boy, that battle for the lead was just amazing. We saw the battle for fourth right here that ended up being the battle for the third, and then ultimately the battle for second place as that completed your podium. And James Weeda with a huge lead. There was Mueller pulling off. That was probably the story of the race, with him pulling off down there in turn number 5. Two-time champ, not able to make it 3 in a row. The 2013 SCCA Runoffs are brought to you by Mazda. Zoom Zoom.
It's time to face facts. You're a gearhead. You wish the freeway on-ramp was your personal racetrack. Well, buckle up, buddy, because the Sports Car Club of America wants you. With 40,000 members and events across the country, the SCCA has all the excitement you can handle. Dance the blacktop two-step with SCCA Solo. Get down and dirty with SCCA Rallycross. Or go wheel-to-wheel with SCCA Club Racing. Hit the track with the SCCA, where America's best drivers race.
He ignored the naysayers and never compromised. When Thomas Edison threw the switch, it changed everything. Engineering without compromise. This is the Mazda way. And this is the Mazda CX-5. SkyActiv technology makes it lighter yet stronger, earning a top safety pick. And more fuel efficient than any hybrid SUV. This is the uncompromised Mazda CX-5. What do you drive?